started here, give us some time for people to get on. Today we're going to be going over our break the bank strategy. I know the indicator hasn't been released yet. However, you can still apply it. I use the indicator. Hopefully the group will vote on it when we get our group to, I believe it's, we're working on getting it to 2,000. That you guys have opportunity to vote on this as the indicator. This will be one of them. There's a couple other that could be released, but I want to get into the mechanics of it because I talk about it. Now, keep in mind when I use the break the bank, I'm also using top-down AQZ. And if you watch my other videos that I've done or been in my other sessions, we always want to look at price action from monthly, weekly, daily, 4-hour, and so on. Look at the price action, what it's telling us, the story it's telling us to get directional bias for our entries. And then that's when I use my break the bank entries to get in. I pretty much execute all of my entries based off break the bank. Now, even though the indicator is not released, you can still use this strategy off of what I teach you this morning on it. The mechanics of it are going to be there. You just won't have the indicator. The indicator is quite helpful a lot of ways for what it does. It simplifies the process and everything else. So let's just take a look kind of at some of the concepts behind the break the bank. The video there. So we always use a prophetic candle, break the bank setups or entry point. We use a prophetic candle, top it down AQZ. If you have the momentum shift, you could apply the same principle with top down AQZ on momentum shift as well. To think about directional bias, I use my break the bank for the entries. Always look at AQZ levels. That's the different levels, TP1, TP2, stop up 1, stop on 2. We're looking at those levels as we use it. Last week I did a video on during wraparound Wednesdays about how those are like a ladder that we use either going up or down depending on the directional bias of what we have going on. You have 1 minute Pinky and Cheeto, that's the G cross. Those are levels of their own. You want to pay attention to those within those. I use 30-50 pip stop loss because I trade gold. Pretty much that's what I trade. I don't trade a lot of other pairs. If I do, it's the AU, GU, EU, the Dixie correlation pairs because I follow Dixie strongly when I'm trading gold. 25 pips in profit, set a break even, take partials at 30 pips, you can leave runners after that. You could do trailing stops if you're thinking you're going to have a big move. Rinse and repeat as you re-enter back in after you've set it to break even and taken partials. It likes to come back and take you out. That's partly because they like to revisit these zones that you enter in on. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that this morning. It's key to know the directional bias for the pair and what price action is showing us. We use the top-down AQZ. You could use the MS to do the same thing. When I'm doing top-down, I'm probably just using the prophetic candle. I don't use multiple shift, that momentum shift that much. I try to keep it simple. So I just focus using the prophetic candle. I don't try to mix up my trading all over. So that's just my recommendation. The less pairs you trade, the less indicators you use, you really hone down a strategy that will work for you. Because when you start using all these different things, you get spread too thin and you get confusion that happens and mistakes happen. I just really work on keeping it very simplistic and key. That's mainly why I trade gold. I started doing that about 3 years ago, and that's all I focus on mostly. And I kind of know how it moves, so I feel comfortable with that. I don't panic. I don't let the psyche get to me. So it's important that you work in your repertoire. You don't have to trade every pair and you don't have to use every single indicator that's out there. I use break the bank for my entries, and that's why I do it. And we call it sniper entries because sometimes on prophetic candle, you might enter at preferred and you'll have some drawdown. Break the bank helps minimize that. You're going to mark up zones that are potential for continuation of the break the bank, either short or long. You're going to look for zones that have larger break the bank zones for continuation areas when you're looking at it. And then sometimes you might have to look further left for everything. And if you have more than one zone, you might want to think about your stop loss and how you manage your trade in that area. So let's take a look at some of the mechanics on here. I'm going to bring this over here. I'll just drop myself down in the corner here. bullish break the bank setups. What does that look like? Well, you're going to draw your fibs from the lowest wick to the next highest bull wick. And so down here, you can see here's the lowest wick. It could be a bull wick or a bear wick. It doesn't matter. It just has to be the lowest wick. And then you draw it to the left, the immediate next bull candle up. That's for a bullish break the bank setup. Okay, so you see I draw the fibs from low to high, the next one up, and it sets it up. Okay, same thing for a bearish trend, except it's reversal. So you're going to draw the fibs from the highest wick on the left to the lowest bear wick. So like up here, here's the highest wick. It could be a bull or a bear wick on the high end. It could be a bull or a bear wick on the high end. Just like the one we did before, this could be a bull or a bear on the low end. So up here on the high side, it's a bull or a bear, but always to the next bear candle wick. Okay? And so you can see that's how this was drawn up. From high to low to the next bear candle. Same thing with the bull, from the low to the next bull candle. Doesn't matter what wick it is on the low side or what wick it is on the high side, as long as it's the highest wick. And then what you see happening here in this setup, when you get the breakout, it works just like our AQZ prophetic candle. When you get the breakup, you're going to look for the retest. And what's neat about this indicator that we have, this one painted a reversal arrow. That's what this is. I changed my colors. I believe they're red and green when dug, and then they're a lighter color and a lighter red. I think it's what the indicator comes with. I changed it to colors that I was always using to mean bull or bear for me. So I just put it to my colors, which you can do on the indicator. But this is a reversal candle right here. This darker color candle here is a reversal candle for the low side. This candle up here is a reversal candle right here. I use a white candle to show my reversal pattern, right? These blacks are continuation for the buy. These greens are continuation for the short. And no, I don't react on these all the time. This just tells me there's a trend going and they have a counter trend going here. I don't try to fire one off because I see this, because as you can see, it's minimal aspects. You could try, you probably would have got what, 75 to 67, about 60 pips on this one. But then you're playing against the odds. You could just get something like this, you know. So I don't play both ways. If I start one direction, I play that direction. And that's how I look at it. So let's take a look at the next thing. So break the bank indicators, like I said, paint the reversal arrows. So here's a reversal arrow. Sometimes you could see that it paints more than one reversal arrows when we get there. I think I have some pictures that show that in a second. But here's the reversal arrow on this one. It broke out, came back and tested preferred again. They always like to do that. And then it moved on up. Okay, this is kind of the current uptrend from last Friday on gold. Here's the same thing with the reversal arrows on Dixie. So you have the reversal arrow here, the breakout has come down. It has not revisited this zone yet. And I'll show you that later when we go to the charts. But these are the break the bank reversal, and these are the continuations for the short coming down. These reversals here, or these black ones, are continuation for the buys, but as you can see, they're not really holding very, much buy in them. So that's what we're seeing with those. All right. Sometimes it paints more than one reversal arrow, and sometimes they don't hold. So if you look at this one here, here's a reversal arrow. It started going up, but then it reversed back down to a lower level. So you might have gotten something off of this, try to retest in this zone right here, and got maybe 50 pips, but then it dropped back down for probably about another 200 pips. Okay, and then this is the current reversal arrow that started last Friday right here on gold. Okay, and these reversals may be higher before or lower before, depending on what's going on with those. Same thing with here. I got these reversals, just reverse my pictures. This little statement here is off. Anyways, we have a reversal arrow right here, but look at all the movement that we had on Dixie since then. Okay, it didn't reverse when you saw this. It came back, retested preferred, and then violated it, and it went on up. When you see that happen, you want to close out and take it the other way because it's already told you, nope, I'm not going there. This is the reversal. If I would have drawn from this wick to this bull wick, this middle section right here, that this candle closed above preferred. and that's the retest to take it the other way. Once you get that close above, you want to shut down that short. It's the same principle that we use with AQZs if you've been watching the videos and understanding it. Right? So here you have another reversal pattern, but notice this one's much lower. This one is much higher. It's a reversal, of course, on a bull trend. And then you have this breakout. And of course, right now, this area has not been revisited in what we're seeing. Okay. In break the bank, we'll revisit untested zones. So you got this one here. I have an anticipation that gold's going to come back down here. They also like to go to TP1 or TP1.5 before retesting the AQZ preferred zone. This one actually went to TP1 and all the way nicked TP2, and then it's dropping back down. Okay, sometimes they go all the way up and get the second zone. A lot of times they, as you can see, it played right here at TP1.5, and then it drops back down. So we have this close below. I have a feeling that gold's going to come back down into preferred. And if, since we already visited it here once, this little wick area entry right here, I have a feeling it's going to violate. That's just my take, knowing how AQZ works and how I watch the patterns. Also, I have correlation on the other side with Dixie doing the same thing. So let's take a look at some the charts that I have going on here. All right, so this is our current trend with gold that I've just been showing you. Okay. If you remember, here's the previous reversal pattern that didn't hold. We did get a buy out of here, and that was a good move. That was a good move to get some pips off of this. This was the reversal pattern from let's see, where did they pull this entry? It has to be from this low wick here up to this wick here. The other neat thing about the indicator, it paints the lines for you to where you draw it up at. So if I wanted to clone this, I'm just going to do it because I have it open right now. I'm going to unlock it, and I'm going to drag this one over and just show you, since that one's drawn low to high, I'm going to draw this one low to high. Okay. Notice when I draw this in, how it just perfectly lines up with the white line. It's another neat way of getting it to line up. It's just the way the indicator paints. But that's why this candle painted right here, this reversal, because this broke outside of this zone. And that's why this came. You could have took a retest off the top if you wanted to, but just know that sometimes they don't hold. But you would have got a solid, 200 pips, I bet, right there. This is what, 82, about 100 pips, up to 95, a little more than 100 pips. That would have been a nice move to take partials and everything else off of, right? So you have this is not a reversal pattern, but then you see this huge wick that closed below and just started that bear run all the way down to where we're at today. So let me close this one out. So this one I'm looking at today with gold playing where it was. I took a short entry right here. I took it early because we were under these two indicators, and that's why, because I played these as zones. We have a G cross to the downside, but I took an entry up here, and then as it came down, I was up at 60 or so hits. I also had two entries right here, and since we have the close below, this is the retest. My opinion is, and everybody has it in trading, but my opinion that it's going to come back to this zone to retest. So I'm currently in a short. Here's a reversal pattern on the top. It's a smaller one, right? Take it from the highest wick down to the next bear. That line's right here that paints it for us, makes it real easy to mark it up. You had somewhat of a retest right here, not quite to preferred, just below preferred, and then it dropped away. And so I didn't count this as a true reversal, but I would have played it if it would have came there, because I just have anticipation that gold's going to come back and go lower right now. Today we have some news. Just Chairman Powell is going to testify before the House Committee, Finance Committee, I believe it is. He's just going to reiterate and explain what's going on and why he sees that they may start pulling in interest rates earlier, maybe 2 in 2023, that time frame. And that's what's did this huge push with gold down and the dollar up, is that because when they start pulling in that spending, it's going to help strengthen the dollar, and you won't have as many dollars chasing things. And so that's the market reacting to it. They're going to talk around 11 o'clock today. So there may be some movement, but I don't know as much as what we had the other day, because they've already told the world what they're going to be doing. This is just going to be questions. So The only thing that might come up is some question that he might answer that the market might interpret differently, might have an effect. So I'm seeing this coming down here, and I would love to see this violation coming down. This violation, once we had this violation, I added 2 entries right here off of this retest. I play the AQZ zones. I usually play up and down on both of those. That's just my preferred. You can only do one if you want to be more conservative. I play both of them because I'm playing the zone, and so why not take both entries? And then that's how I stack. I played 1 entry right in this zone right here because we had a close below these 2 indicators, and then I played that. And that's how I use the G cross. And we're going to see if we get any downward movement today. We've been kind of quiet yesterday, just kind of a slow slog from Friday all the way back up into here yesterday, with a form of a retracement. So I'm going to see how this holds out and play it down. So let's take a look at kind of the reversal on that, since I was using it. Let me get out of here. Let's take a look at Dixie. And I could talk about the reversal look on Dixie here. All right, so now we're talking break the bank. This is the entry right here. I'm going to get rid of my little arrow there. This is the reversal pattern, the breakout. Notice it kind of formed this, almost looks like a triple top on the 15-minute time frame. But this is what I'm seeing. This is a potential, came down with TP2, and now we're on a way back. I'm seeing a potential to do the reversal on the same thing that gold's doing in the opposite direction, to come back up and violate this zone. Notice it has not been retested. They love to come back. How quickly all depends on how the market works, but it does come back to these zones to retest. And so I've had this one drawn up for a while on this pullback, thinking that Dixie would retest. Didn't do all last week. We've slowly had this little kind of creepy sloggy thing going on that it has going on with it right now. And then you could see, this is the other reversal error that I talked about the other day. It didn't quite happen here. This, if I drew this up, high wick to low, the next bear wick, it's all painted with this line. When this came up and closed, this one was the violation right here, because this one didn't, this candle didn't. This violated it. That would have been the retest to take it back up high. So you would have seen, say, about right here, and it would have came close to preferred, but not all the way, and it went back up. So here we're sitting here with this break the bank strategy that we're using this aspect, and that's why I play. Especially for me, it gives me greater confidence when I'm trading gold to be paying attention to Dixie as well. And if you're trading one of the USD pairs, you better be paying attention to Dixie, what it's doing, and seeing how that plays out. And so that's what I'm seeing with my break the bank entries and what we're going on. So I think I covered those topics. Is there a pair someone wants me to look at? Maybe I can go that way and we can just look at it fresh. Maybe you can drop it in chat if you want me to look at something. No takers. This one's not pretty to me. Why are you doing this one? Because you're not set the way I want you to be. So let me go back to this one. All right, I'll take a look at that in chat real quick. Let me see what I can get going here. All right, so all right, so let's take a look at GJ. I don't trade that one that often, but we could take a look at it. And I'll try to apply the break to bake type setups. So let's do this one, since I have a little time now. I give you guys a little bit of dose of something here. Cancel. All right. So this one up. Okay, here we go, GJ. So this is on our 4 hour. All right, so let's take a look at this. I'm going to do a top down real quick because that's what I would do. And then I'll go into the break the bank with everything else. So as you can see here, we have a previous zone up here that I had marked up from last week. And we're going to try to clean some of this up. Just put it to AQZ zone. All right, but we also have our prophetic candle, and this looks like a violation right here. So that would have been the retest to the upside. I could see it right now on this one. So I'm going to draw this sucker up, and I'm going to give us a whole fibs and everything else. So on GJ, it looks like to the upside just on the 4 hour. But what I would want to do is take a look at what does it look like on a higher time frame to get a directional bias. So this would be some form of an entry in here that I would look break the bank on. But I'm not going to do that yet. Let's take a look at the monthly on GJ. I'll put that over here. So what does the monthly show on GJ? I'm going to clean this up. I haven't been on GJ in a while on a monthly. Let me just take a quick look here. So this is what I've seen here, the straight engulfing that we got going on here. This would have been to the downside. So I'm going to just mark this up. Here's the retest on this. This is on the monthly. So where's GJ possible to go? Well, technically, we've already had the retest of the zone. Can we see it going up to 159.771? That looks like 652 pips on a move for GJ off the monthly. So it's starting to get a directional bias here of upside. So let's take a look at the weekly. This is the weekly, just so you know, weekly right here. All right, and let's go to GJ on the weekly. I'm going to clean this one up. All right, so this violation came back. This is a retest. So I'm going to play off of this one, just looking at it, because it looks like a retest to that zone. So this, I believe that's the, yep, wick to wick. Look at that retest that it did right off of there. So the potential off that retest is to go up to 154. We have a potential to hit this zone here. This is an engulf pattern. You can mark this one up as well and to see, will it retest and drop, or will it retest and violate and go to the next level? So I'd be paying attention to that as we pay attention to GJ. So far it looks bullish to me because we have a close. This is a weekly. We don't have the weekly close yet, but this weekly just retested here. Look at that perfect retest on the weekly, and then it decides to, you know, wick a little bit and move back up. These are huge zones, by the way, if you're playing that one. So let's take a look. That's weekly, monthly, weekly. Let me see if I thought I had the daily up. Let me see if I can get my daily up. Let's take a look at the daily on this. Let it load up. All right, so let's get a bigger picture. So far I see a bullish trend on this here. Notice I'm playing off of this AQZ zone to see where it was going. We have the close above off the daily, so the next retest I have here coming up to, oh, this is gold, sorry. I was looking at GJ, sorry. Gotta get my pairs here. All right, so we have this one zone here. These are prophetic candles on the daily. This is a tiny one right here. I'm just kind of analyzing GJ so that you guys can understand what I do before I do my entry on the break the bank. So this is a similar zone, a little higher. So I could mark this one up as well. This one's a little bit bigger. So why don't we do that one. I'll do the larger zone because I prefer larger zones. So we had the breakout. So could we see a retest into this zone here? But this gives me some indication of how I use my AQZs if it's a bullish trend. Okay, so here's the close above on the daily, and here's the wick. So at least we want to go to 54 on this one. I'd love to see the close back above this area. And this is on the daily. If we went back to our 4 hour, this is our play on the 4 hour. Taking some type of retest entry off preferred, even though we haven't got it yet, up to this level, which would be 52, 53, kind of the same zones that we've been talking about. Each of them slightly higher. So let's take a look at the break the bank on GJ. So with the indicator right here, we see a reversal zone, right? So what I'm going to do is, since we're in that area, I'm actually going to mark that one up. It's a smaller zone, but I like it for one purpose. It's what it's playing on right now. So if I was going to do an entry right now, I may look at this 53.72 retest because we have the close. Here's one. It's coming back into that zone. We go back to the 4 hour. That gives us 53.57. This gives us 53.72. This retest would probably be my shot to take it up. Basically, that's what I'd be looking at, that retest, to see what it does. Off of this zone, I'm playing the reversal pattern because we had this violation right here. Here's the violation. Here's one retest. Here's another retest, right? And it may dig deeper, but that's okay. That would be my retest on GJ for the buy because I'm playing. Now, I could have played this zone down here. Right here, this is a continuation for the buy right here. That's what this arrow did, this close above, but it's not there. So what am I gonna look? I'm gonna look for this one. If I get a close below this, I may scratch out and wait for a deeper buy. And we still have like 8 minutes on this one. But this is the retest I would take. Minimal drawdown, what you're looking at, you know, half a pip so far, you know, 50.71 to 63, maybe 10 pips. Looking at the drawdown, I'm going to take a look at that real quick. If you entered right here, yeah, you're about half a pip, you know, not even 10 pips, you know. So this type, that would be my entry on this. That's how I would have played it using the break to bank. Because sometimes, like you've seen here, we might not get this entry down here, right, at 53.57, because this is showing, you know, 53.57 is like down here. So that would be my position on buying on GJ, take it up and playing it that way to see where it goes. You know, I don't trade GJ that often. You know, it's tempting to jump in, hey, I'll take that trade, you know, but I don't trade GJ as much. You know, I don't need to necessarily, but that would be my entry right here for you guys, taking that trade on up. Anybody have any questions how I use the break the bank, or would like more help with any of that aspect on it? Well, I'm gonna go back and be looking at where I'm at with my gold, and then I'd have to go back and look at my correlation charts on GJ to see what correlates with GJ. And basically what I'm looking at is I would have a correlation chart. I like looking at both of them. So I see, for me, it's Dixie's on one side. I want to see what's going on here. Why is this all wackadoodle? Got this one in here. I'm going to dump it. Keep that one down. That's why. That's what's going on. So with Dixie, I'm just playing the zones off the high. I'm anticipating that it's going to come back up into this region right up here. This here, because it's an untested zone. We'll see how this plays out this morning, what it does, or if it's just going to consolidate it. Well, what I do, I'm not going to take everybody's time again. I have the video set up for you guys, so you could watch the beginning of the video. It really breaks it down for you. I went through some slide presentations on it, kind of just breaking down how I get into it. And this is all in the video. So it's at the very beginning of the video. You can pick up on that. and go through all the mechanics of it. The one thing you guys don't have is the indicator yet. And that's because we haven't released it. I think what we're trying to do is to see if we can get our group up to, let's share this real quick. We're about 1,300. I think our next goal target is at 2,000. So we're at 1,335. So that was the aspect of that. But once I drop the video in, I'll drop it in under this channel here for us. And you'll be able to get into it in that manner and watch the video. I'm not going to go through the whole thing again. I just covered it this morning with things, and I just did it through GJ. So you can take a few minutes, be about 10 minutes of your time, maybe 15 minutes of your time to go through what I did with the slides for you guys here. Kind of explain break the bank and how it works. And so I'm just waiting to see how this for me, I'm in a gold trade right now for a short. We'll see where it goes. And I'll play it out. And this is kind of the hours that it'll, yeah, you're welcome, that it will show what its true intentions will be between 6 and 7 Pacific Coast time, because I follow gold. Around 7 o'clock, I'll start doing what it's going to do. Usually that's what it does. And the potential for it, you know, is to move or consolidate. And today, I know that's like, okay, either or. Are we going to see this consolidation pattern that gold is set at right through here? Or am I going to see this violation come back down and retest this zone that's been untested from this reversal pattern that we have right here? It did test it with a wick. It blew up to TP2. And I'm anticipating this reversal pattern. Why? Because Dixie's doing something similar on the other end. Right here. So Dixie's been doing the slow creep. So I like to see Dixie get back above this zone continuation for the upside, but it hasn't done that yet. But we had to close below. I love to see it close below or retest and keep coming back up. But we'll have to wait to see. Right now, gold is the reversal of that. It has actually closed below, which I like. We have this close below here, and this is a retest. So I'd love to see it continue on its way down. But we'll have to wait to see how this all plays out for me on my gold trade. So, well, with that, I'm going to sign off with you guys. I'll be on tomorrow doing wraparound Wednesday, and we'll look at all our prophetic candle pairs that are available at that time. And then what we're going to do is basically just look at that. I highly recommend you watch this video if you didn't see the beginning part of it, because it helps you with the setups for prophetic candle in our top-down AQZ strategy that we use, that we've shared over and over again. So I'll see you guys tomorrow on Wraparound Wednesday. And I hope you guys have a good trading week, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a good day, guys.
Thank you.
You're welcome, guys. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.